I guess I should actually open mine. Yes, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Show it to. pretty
Was
sure.
live?
I'm
Yeah, I think so.
when I got this.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Mayor Husband is away tonight, so I will be chairing this meeting. Kevin has a land acknowledgement.
We acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory in the homeland of the Métis people. We reaffirm our relations with which we are bound to by our ancestors through treaty, to steward this land and seek mutual benefit for as long as the grass grows, the sun shines, and the river flows. We pay our respect to the First Nation and Métis ancestors of this place and honor elders and survivors as we bring awareness to Indian residential and day schools, the 60 Scoop, missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit. To acknowledge this territory and its keepers on their traditional terms is to act in reciprocity so that truth may be understood and reconciliation made possible.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. We'll call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock.
Here we go. Let's go. Record.
Right? Yeah. Everybody had a chance to check out the agenda.
I'll move the approval.
Councillor Smith will move the agenda. All in favor? Carried. Anything in the consent agenda anybody wants to pull out or talk about?
I don't know if it's part of that, but I noticed all those people walking down the street. What's going on there? Somebody was asking me about that. Measuring.
Yeah, that must have been the highways or
Highways.
something.
Highways?
They were looking at the curbs.
Yeah, I seen them today too.
Yeah, so the Ministry of Highways is, definitely, they've got some engineering students, whatnot out there doing, actually, they were measuring curbs was what I think they were doing. Because that's what they told us they were gonna be doing, and I noticed some abandoned people on Mackenzie Street where there was nobody around them, and they were just standing there like this, looking kind of lost, but yeah, so the Ministry of Highways.
No, I just came up with that sidewalk thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's nice to see them around. Yes, it's good, all good.
Somebody wanna move the
I can move the consent agenda.
Councillor Bruce, all in favor? Carried. I'm gonna go down to public hearings.
Right, so we have them at 7:15 and 7:30, so hopefully we can just kind of skip to
Gonna
those.
skip those down to bylaws. For the development permit and bylaw fees.
Right, so you did first reading of the bylaw number 01/2026 last meeting. I've had no changes. The last meeting was just a week ago, as everyone knows. We've had no changes and there was nothing suggested resulting from that meeting. Again, the changes are just increases in fees and mostly due to the fact that the salmon maintenance charge is $50 now instead of $25. And we just tidied up the fees. There was no change in the actual concepts and everything in the bylaw itself.
I'll go for second reading.
Second reading, get Councillor Deirdre makes the motion, all in favor? Carried for second reading.
Yeah, and again, we were hopeful. We didn't really want to have this implemented before April 1st, so our next meeting will be April 1st, so it'd be a great time for the third final reading if that's something the council would entertain at that time.
Sure, sounds good.
Did you say the next meeting is April 1st?
Our next
Okay.
meeting will be April 1st. It's not
So
April
not the
Fool's.
second.
Yeah, no, yeah. So we changed. The reason why we're having this one earlier is because we were going to have that one earlier, so that it didn't. The SUMA convention is when our
An election turned out to be.
Yeah, and then we moved our election, so yeah, it just kind of made this a bit of a different
That's
schedule.
why I thought you were a week early.
Yeah,
Yes.
no. And really, in theory, she would have been, but when we set the schedule, we talked about that when we set the schedule for the year.
Yeah, we were a little messy
Yes,
for
yeah,
March.
It is messy in March and April, yeah, for sure.
Go down to 8I, consumer resolutions and AGM discussion.
Right, so the SUMA, as we talked about SUMA, so SUMA will be held April 12th to the 15th in Regina, and we have at the last meeting of council, we appointed 4 voting delegates. Rachel and I will also be in attendance. So pieces of that there's some voting to be done, so we always like to have some conversation at council meeting to get as it turns out, everybody that is going from council is voting delegate this time, but Councillor Bruce and Long are not going, so it'd be great to get some feedback here. So the first one is just the AGM and its minutes and whatnot. So usually the AGM, the annual general meeting of SUMA, is usually a pretty straightforward thing. There's not really anything crazy that you vote on there, but obviously voting, or everybody votes on it. Yeah, at the AGM, everybody votes. It doesn't have to just be a voting delegate. So, but it's just really, it's a very straightforward thing. There's an agenda. It has the minutes from the previous meeting, it's the audited financial statements, the appointment of the auditor, and any questions, and then adjournment. So it's a pretty straightforward thing. I don't know that there's anything that council would want to discuss on that, but I just thought that's
Is there elections?
no. No, there's no elections
think
this
so.
year. Yeah, no,
Next year.
there's been no elections
Or,
this year. Well, they,
Well,
no.
for chair,
so the
Yes.
president, yeah, so,
she,
I think it's every 2 years, I think.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be, and the first one is the first term, so
Yeah.
it would be, so they were elected last year, yeah. Okay, and then there's and again, an election for that, everybody's in attendance votes, you don't just have to be a voting delegate, okay. And then there's the resolutions package, which very relieved this year.
There's not much in there.
Yeah, so they've obviously taken some advice because the intention and what has come up year after year has been somebody needs to actually review these before they actually put them all on the floor. And so it looks like there's only 10.
10.
Yeah, so there's only 10 this time, or
There must be.
7, 8,
20
9, there's
last
11. Yeah, and there has
Wow,
been,
that's
which part of the problem is just about all of them pass. And then you've really stretched staff like for priorities, and then they're not prioritized. So this is really, I mean, it's a good thing that there's 10 and maybe all 10 won't pass, but just if we can chat a bit about each one. Actually, is there 10 or is there 11? There's 11.
Oh, yeah.
There's 11.
10.
There's 2 sevens.
Yeah, they're on page 7. So
Oh,
it's
that's
on
the page
So if you
number.
look, yeah,
Okay,
so if you look at
gotcha.
the front, there's 11 of them. So okay. So the first one is regional cost sharing, and it comes from the Village of Borden and the Board of Directors. And so what they're looking at is they're talking about community services, recreation facilities, community halls, arenas, fire halls, capital and operation costs, constructing, maintaining, and insuring them. Rural municipalities often contribute to fire protection, but hosting municipality remains as a fire hall. So yeah, they're wanting SUMA to advocate for the government of Saskatchewan for a strengthened provincial framework that ensures fair financial participation from rural municipalities. They want mandatory cost sharing agreements for essential regional emergency services such as fire response. They want provincial incentive programs that encourage and support collaboration on recreation and community-based services, including library costs, capital and operating fund opportunities, and provincial guidelines and tools that assist municipalities in structuring fair contribution models and resolving disputes in a timely and equitable manner. So their background is small urban municipalities frequently host and maintain regional facilities that serve residents well beyond their municipal boundaries. While rural municipalities benefit from these shared costs, financial contributions are inconsistent and often inadequate to cover true costs. They would like a clear provincial framework.
It's one thing we got pretty good in this part of when.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
good and bad. But
because
some
like
people-
it depends on the hospital, the sharing and that is great. Fire hall, obviously that's been great.
Mhm.
Rink,
No, yeah, and you're right, and that's and there are pockets, and that's one of the things with this being a provincial concern. All over Saskatchewan, there are inconsistencies. So in some areas, the RMs and the towns participate in rinks and fire departments and whatnot, and in some areas they don't. I can tell you for sure, I've heard it more than once from more than one rural municipality, not just in this area, but in different areas of Saskatchewan. Is like, we do roads and bridges. Oh, if you want us to contribute to your recreation facility, the community hall, whatever, then you're going to have to contribute to our roads and bridges, right? Now, that's in my opinion, that's a backwards mentality, but that's where some come from. So there is that problem across the province. I get that. I don't know that it needs to be a mandatory framework from the province. I think if we as urban municipalities were mandated by the province of Saskatchewan to do something the other direction, we'd be pretty miffed about it. That's my opinion on that. But yeah, I think it's incumbent, and what we've done here, and like Councillor Deardahl said, we've got a good relationship now with the fire hall. We're working on relationships with the library. Maybe the rink, maybe there's some work to be done there too. But ultimately, do you really even think that if we were doing some capital projects that the municipalities would not, like the rural municipalities wouldn't help or try to assist or try to assist with fundraising, I think they would.
Yeah.
So,
Parks like that.
yeah, the
there's
regional park is like
good
that. So,
Agreements there.
yeah, so like, I mean, not saying that you should vote based on what we have, but I also think that you do want to take a look at the risk. And the risk is, if we're asking the provincial government to stipulate and mandate things, regional cooperation, I think it's a slippery slope. And then do we want it to be mandated on ourselves? And I don't think the answer is yes.
Well, yeah, it almost becomes like, oh, you're using our roads.
Well, exactly. And I'm not, roads and bridges is just an example,
No,
right?
That is right.
But that's that piece. And you know,
I remember a time when the RM did put money into to the ring.
and there are best practices out there where, like, when they're talking about you know, having even not just the mandating, one is mandating essential services, regional emergency services. The other one is having incentive programs and whatnot. If you want to work with Sask Parks and Recreation, they have best practices agreements out there. They actually can assist. Like there's already this stuff in the province of Saskatchewan to get this, like not just from the province, but user groups and special interest groups. But again,
This would come from SUMA directly?
well, it's from the Village of Borden and the Board of Directors, right? So, and there is a desire and a need. Like we've heard that with us with having with our Joint Protective Services Agreement. We've heard from a lot of municipalities, like, how did you do that? Like we have, and there are fire halls and fire departments that are falling apart across this province of Saskatchewan because of the municipalities just are not working together.
Or can't.
Or can't. And can't is a tough word because I would challenge that everybody could. You have to have that appetite for it. You gotta hit a rock bottom.
Well, I mean, that's.
You know, and maybe we did in a way, right? So you don't know, like, right? So sometimes you got to get to a bottom to build up and whatever. But I don't think at any of those that somebody's standing there forcing you to do it. I don't think you're going to get regional. I don't think you can force regional cooperation and collaboration. I really.
Yeah, I've always felt maybe sometimes less government is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much do we want them poking in at our?
Yeah.
Well,
Before
how much
being
control
on
do you want the
council-
RM having over our town? How much
Yeah.
does the RM want us
And vice
having
versa.
control?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before council, I didn't know there was that separation. Like I was never aware, like I never knew that there was a difference really anyway. Like I thought, we're all from this area. We all will participate in the, whatever, like the
Well, and
public
that's
facilities that exist.
yeah, and that's the whole community versus municipality, right?
Right.
And that's that piece that, yeah, and you get people in their own little fiefdoms that protect that.
Yeah.
You know, we know that. We
Yeah.
know of that.
Even Saskatoon had been talking, I don't think it ever came to fruition, but of putting a different rate for people who are participating in sports that were not
Yeah.
living in the city.
Yeah. And it's tough. It's actually tough to administer that. You know,
It's
Like,
a distraction.
I'll just say, like, that was one of the things before I started in Care River, where the RM and the town have always had a great relationship, and they do both jointly fund a lot of different things. Like the cemetery, like they do a lot of stuff together. And there was a conversation at the rink. It was just like the RM was saying, well, we maybe are going to back out of like putting money into the rink and to support activities. And then the town backed and said, well, actually, let's present you some statistics of who the users of the rink are,
Who's using it?
and how many town residents use the rink and how many RM rent, which that was all just a conversation. It wasn't, and then it was like, oh, we didn't really realize that, well, okay, so yeah. And then when you went down to the people, like you just said, before you were on council, when you went down to the people,
They didn't know.
people didn't know, and they didn't really
Think
care or think about it. Like they
Yeah,
care.
But
They
I
kind of
think
say-
that that's actually a thing too. Like I think that like from a very general perspective, I think that the people of the RM think that they do participate
And they
and help
do.
with the ring.
And they do.
They-
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, and they
They're the
do, and
ones
they want
buying
to.
meat.
But yeah, but
But as far as
yeah. yeah. Well, but they do.
that's not a great one because
It isn't, but like even just to go a little further with that, they do. But the way we've set up our rink, and many municipalities have that, is it's highly subsidized by the town taxpayer, right? So,
Which was kind of the point.
exactly.
Like that is,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
whatever to whatever.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That is the point, but then
Yeah.
how do you and in this, the point is a good point, but the problem is that the only thing that mandatory was about fire. The rest was like set up mechanisms and have assistance and whatever. Well, that's already there. In my opinion, but again, maybe it's not in every region, but it was here and it was in the Northeast. So I don't really see.
Well, there's another way to think of that too. How many RMs do you start including?
Well, for sure.
I mean, okay, well, some kids play some Rosedale
Absolutely.
from Fertile Valley
Yeah.
from down there,
Yeah.
from King
Yeah.
George.
And it just
So
really gets.
who are we going
Yeah,
after?
and it really gets tough. And I mean,
That's a
not to
slippery
even
slope.
not to
Yeah.
not to take it, but it is even the
Sucks,
same
but-
place. It's even comparable to our landfill. So let's just take that. Is like when you're trying to run a regional landfill where you're having people that come into your land. I mean, not to open that can of worms, but I am. But yeah, it's open. But it's the same thing. It's like how do you actually economically, feasibly make different rates for different users? Like it's tough. It really is tough. I know a lot of people go, oh, it's easy. No, it's actually not easy. You end up getting all these things. And then in the case
The
of
water.
recreation, you've got teams that are made up of people from all over, right? And so it makes it tough. And then yes, you were talking about the city of Saskatoon thinking about doing this. Yeah, there are many municipalities that go, I have a local rate for using the rink and I have a non-local rate. But then you're leaving it up to people to figure out who's non-local and who's local, right?
Right.
You know,
Is it a deterrent?
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a deterrent, and it just, it's a deterrent, and then you want to open up
Parents live out in the country.
100%, and then who's monitoring that, who's enforcing it? It makes it very difficult. But the best answer to that, to get rid of that, is to try to lower the amount of local taxpayer, like to increase your usage and lower your actual local taxpayer, not usage, but your local like
No, the
subsidy.
amount the taxpayer
amount that the taxpayer has a subsidy. So
Yeah.
we're working on
We're
that.
trying.
It's
we're
good.
trying
It's
to
a
do that.
long path, but we're at around 30%, like the other way, 70%, 70% here, 30% users. We'd love to get to like the other way. It's gonna take a long time to get there, right? But that's that piece. Anyway, sorry, this is a long time.
Yeah, I think this one is not as cut and dry as
Yeah.
all
Wanna
that.
Pause that and
Yeah,
do
for
the
sure.
public
But
hearing.
yeah,
First
sure.
one at
Yeah, absolutely.
7:15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they here?
There is nobody gonna be here for any
Oh,
of these,
no.
so but I just,
But you gotta-
we have to
you gotta
do
open
the
it.
time, yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
we'll just pause that, yeah. So go to.
So we'll just go to
Some
4I
discretionaries.
and do the discretionary use permit.
So you'll need a motion to open the hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the hearing.
Councilor Bruce will make that motion. All in favor? Carried.
All right, so then we have, for the briefing note for this discretionary use for permit 115 Saskatchewan Avenue. We've actually seen the first unit for this. It was approved in a discretionary use a couple months ago. And so this is a second unit. So there are discretionary uses outlined as evaluation and as well as evaluation criteria that council would consider. Dwelling units in conjunction with and attached to a permitted use or a discretionary use in the C1 zoning district. All the property owners within 75 meters must be informed of the application and given the ability to provide written comment or speak to at this hearing. You have the ability to prescribe any of the following measures in lieu of outright denial of the application: site drainage of stormwater requirements, location of buildings with respect to the buildings or adjacent property, access to number and location of parking and loading facilities, appropriate space for vehicle lineups for drive-through, control of noise, glare, dust, and odor, landscaping, screening, and fencing, and preservation of existing vegetation buffer adjacent properties, size, shape, and arrangements of buildings, placement and arrangement of lighting and signs, prescribe specific time limits for the use that is intended to be temporary to allow council to monitor the impact of use of surrounding development and intensity of use. The current status is that application has been received for construction of a dwelling unit in conjunction with and attached to a permitted use at 115 Saskatchewan Avenue in the C1 zoning district. The following evaluation criteria the council needs to use to assess it if the discretionary permit application should be approved under 3.10.3 of the town zoning bylaw with or without conditions. So first, the proposal must be in conformance with all relevant sections of the official community plan and must demonstrate that it will maintain the character, density, and purpose of the zoning district where necessary through the provision of buffer areas, separation, and screening. That's a check mark. It has demonstrated that. The proposal must be capable of being economically serviced by community infrastructure, including roadways, water and sewer services, solid waste disposal, parks, schools, and other utilities and community facilities. Again, a check. The proposal must demonstrate that it is not detrimental to the health, safety, convenience, or general welfare of persons residing or working in the vicinity or injurious to property, improvements, or potential developments in the vicinity. Check. The proposal must provide sufficient landscaping and screening, and wherever possible shall preserve existing vegetation. There's no change to that. No check mark. Proposal must demonstrate that any additional traffic generated by the use can be adequately provided for in the existing parking and access arrangements. Where this is not possible, further appropriate provisions shall be made so as to ensure no adverse parking or access effects occur. I didn't realize I had an error there. So it's checked. So there are two parking spots there. Consideration will be given to the presence of activities already located in the area and on the site and their effect on the surrounding residential environment, such as the cumulative effect of locating an activity or a site adjacent to an already accommodating activity that may currently generate traffic noise. So this is a residential, so in fact, it can put less traffic because there won't be people coming and going into the store. Consideration will be given to addressing pedestrian safety and convenience. I don't think that's an issue. Operation shall comply with all regulations of Saskatchewan environment and Saskatchewan labor. Yes. And proposals for discretionary uses which may result in heavy truck traffic does not apply. And in this instance, particularly, there's some further evaluation criteria. Dwelling units attached to commercial establishments shall have a main entrance separate from that of the commercial establishment. It does, that's in the drawing, and an emergency exit must be provided in addition to the main entrance, and they have an emergency exit as well. The minimum floor area of each dwelling unit should be 28 square meters. This one does meet that. So the recommendation is that council of the town of Outlook approve the application for development to construct a second dwelling unit in conjunction with and attached to a permitted use at lots 7 and 8, block 9, on T6729, civic address 115 Saskatchewan Avenue, under the condition that a building permit application is submitted and all code requirements are met. There was no one that asked to speak to that, like of the people with property owners within 75 meters.
Is there a negative?
I don't see it.
Councillor Smith makes the motion to accept this.
Actually, first you have to. Yeah, no, that's right. That's right.
We
Sorry.
don't-
That's sorry.
We're not
Confused
in
a little bit. Yeah, we're not in camera. That's what I was like, first we have to come on camera. No, that's all right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Carried.
And we'll just go with, I think it was Councillor Bruce that made the motion to start the hearing. We'll have started all the hearings with that motion. I think we should be
Okay.
fine if that's okay if we just amend that.
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Okay. So then let's just go into the next one. We're close enough to the time.
Just do the next one? Okay.
So there's two more. So there's a discretionary use permit at 218 Douglas Street, and it's to construct a single detached dwelling. So council has this, sorry, a lot of this is gonna be exact same speak. So in this, sorry?
Quotations.
In the zoning bylaw, there are discretionary uses outlined as well as the evaluation criteria. A single detached dwelling unit build, they are a discretionary use in the R2 zoning district. And we just were talking a little bit before the meeting. So there are 4 lots in this parcel. And there are 4 lots and they're separate lots. They don't even need to be subdivided. They're just 4 lots. There was 1 house on 4 lots, and they're 4 25-foot lots. So the house, they have already they haven't demolished the house yet, but the demolition of the house has actually been applied for as a development permit. So that is happening. So then, so this, along with the other discretionary use application, the proponents are proposing to build 2 semi-detached houses on the 4 lots. So they're going to switch from a parcel of 4 to 2 parcels of 2. Okay, so just to be clear, so, and it was 218 Douglas, and now it's going to be 218 and 220. Thank goodness we had the availability of numbers, because sometimes we don't. So that's good. So then we have to go to A and B. So I was really excited to not have to go to A and B on this one.
Wow.
What's that? Yeah, that's the house. Okay, so again, and yes, there was a single detached dwelling on it, and that was built when that was zoned for R1, which was for that, but the zoning for that area has been changed to R2. So anything new to be built there has to fall under the new zoning bylaw, where again, it's not a permitted use, it's a discretionary use to build a semi-detached house. Okay.
It is also surrounded
Or
by other
single detached.
houses.
And it is, yeah. So you're not, that's the beauty of this, is that we also made, because we used to have, when the zoning bylaw was first made, when it was made R2, having a single detached house was not a discretionary use, was just not allowed. So we've changed that 2 years ago or 3 years ago when we did it, that we put it that it would be a discretionary use, so that it wouldn't be, it would give neighbors and it would give council that ability to have the sober second thought, just in case for some reason some of these criteria weren't met. Whereas before, when it was not allowed, then there was not even opportunity. So we wouldn't be looking at this and it would have been, nope, sorry, you got to build a semi-detached. You can't build a single detached. Okay, sorry. Now that we got that through, hopefully there's no more questions on that, but it does make life a little more complicated when we change zoning, okay? So all property owners within 75 meters must be informed of this application and given the ability to provide written comment or speak at the hearing. No one has actually come forward and asked to do this, but they were given the 21 days notice, which is required. It's kind of interesting. In this case, instead of me sitting down and figuring out who's 75 meters from this one and who's 75 meters, I just got them all. So there's some people that are even more than 75 meters away from them, but I was just like, let me just send one letter to everybody, right? So we did that. I made sure I more than covered that. So council has the ability to prescribe any of the measures that I had talked about earlier. And then, so our current status. And so the application has been received, requesting to develop construction of a single detached home at 218 Douglas Street in the R2 zoning district, following the same criteria. So they're all check marks. The proposal must be in conformance with all relevant sections of the official community plan and must demonstrate it will maintain character, density, and purpose of the zoning district, where necessary through the provision of buffer area separation and screening. Like Councillor Bruce said, there are already single detached houses there. We've seen council sees the proposed build, very much fits well with the area and would fit well with single detached and would fit well with semi-detached. The proposal must be capable of being economically serviced. The services are already there. Proposal must demonstrate that it is not detrimental to the health, safety, convenience, and general welfare of persons residing or working in the vicinity. Check mark. The proposal must provide sufficient landscaping and screening, and wherever possible shall preserve existing vegetation. They plan to do that. The proposal must demonstrate any additional traffic generated by the use. Again, not thinking there'll be any additional traffic generated by the use. Consideration will be given to the presence of activities already located in the area, which they are. Consideration will be given to addressing pedestrian safety and convenience both within the site. Again, this is a very vague term, so it's applied to every kind of discretionary use. All operations shall comply with the regulations of Saskatchewan environment, Saskatchewan labor. Yes, and then if they may result in heavy truck traffic, which doesn't apply. Again, the recommendation is council approve the application for development to construct a single detached residence at lots 14 and 15, block 8, plan T6729, civic address 218 Douglas Street, under the condition that a building permit application is submitted and all code requirements are met.
Councillor Deirdre makes that motion. Can we do both of those?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna do separate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
separate.
okay.
Separate motion.
Councillor Deirdre makes that motion. All in favor? Carried.
But I'm going to save us. So I'm going to really go through this one quickly. Single, again, same idea, exactly the same thing. This is 220 Douglas Street. This is a single detached dwelling unit, is a discretionary use in the R2 zoning district. This is at 220 Douglas Street. Everything is exactly the same as I just said. Not going to go through it all. So council of the town of Outlook should approve, or the recommendation is that council of town of Outlook approve the application for development to construct a single detached residence at lots 16 and 17, block 8, plan T6729, civic address 220 Douglas Street, under the condition that a building permit application is submitted and all code requirements are met.
Councillor Long makes that motion. All in favor? Carried.
Perfect. And now you have to
Oh yeah, we need a motion to come
close the
close the
hearing.
hearing. Yeah.
Thomas turn.
Oh.
Councillor Long.
Darn it,
Makes that
anyway.
motion.
That's
All in
right.
favor?
Okay, there we go. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You can have-
So back to the resolution.
Back to the resolutions page. Yeah.
So yeah, again, it was just advice. I don't know if anybody has, like, it's like, I don't know, we don't want to spend too much time on each resolution, but just that one's a little bit dear to my heart. And I was, again, it's what you every good want, but I feel that this is overreach, asking for overreach from the government. But that's
Too much involvement.
Mhm.
I'd like to see a thing where try and get some more help from all kinds of governments for
Yeah,
water security. Sort of on this next one,
yeah.
retention of certified water. Okay, yeah, operators, yeah, I get it, but
Mhm.
why wasn't there one in there seriously about water security?
Mhm.
You know, like we all kind of had an idea about that right now.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
you know, you think the small towns would be coming after that like crazy.
I'll remember it for next year and we can
Well,
submit it.
maybe we should have this year.
Yeah.
It's too late now.
I know it's too
Yeah.
late. But yeah, it is something to think about. I mean,
Mhm.
somewhere, you know, they can give some for security or have ideas for security or something. I don't know.
There definitely, it is like one of the things in the permit, and I don't know if it will be, but talking about the security, definitely like our experience has received, most people know, our experience received provincial and national attention. Water security, so Water Security Agency, they have actually, I know that they've actually talked to other municipalities about this. Because we've had other municipalities reaching out to us and asking us for further information about what we're doing and what exactly happened so that they, and I think I've talked about that before. So yeah, I think the role of Water Security Agency is big with that, but back to like the proposed resolution is about certified water and wastewater operators. And there is a problem. There is while we don't necessarily have this issue, because we're a bit larger, villages especially who are trying to run water treatment plants
Mhm.
do not, and we don't have to go very far away to see where this is a problem and or where it's a challenge. And you know, that's the pieces that recruiting and retaining water treatment plant operators.
Well, it costs their whole budget.
It does, and that's and because of water security and because of like making sure you have that, you train the people and then they can take that training and go somewhere else, right?
Mhm.
You just don't. It's very similar to journeyman, like to the trades. It's very similar that way, and people can. One of the things we've been talking about, and again talking with water security, and then I know like Luke Lockhart is involved with this too, is trying to recruit young people who are graduating from high school or like on the cusp of, and explaining to them and recruiting them, saying, here's something you can do and actually make money at and make fairly decent money at. Now, sure, in some towns, but in the village, small villages, it's not a full-time job. It's not a, but you could do it for several villages, right? There's a lot of opportunity there. Again,
That's where the government should maybe step in.
Well,
on some
yeah.
of these smaller ones and say, hey, you know, you're a small community, you can't afford this. Maybe this community, this community, this community, we're going to go together and have somebody to do this stuff.
Yeah.
It's
And-
crazy.
And it's also but they're having these sizes of municipalities are also having the same problem with administrators.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a little less dangerous per se, but they're also, just about everyone is having, these municipalities, sized municipalities are also having
20
trouble
miles away.
trying to recruit, and trying to make sure that they recruit administrators.
So
So,
it was bad even when I first got on council 10 years ago. It was bad, and I think it's even worse.
oh, it
now.
is.
Well, the RMs are having to take over
Mhm.
Those
villages.
villages, yeah.
For sure.
Now they got to deal with it all. Yeah.
Mhm.
Holy smoke.
Well, and your RM administrators, like, and God bless us all, but we're like, they are. I mean, we can. Town administrators can do RM administration. RM administration can do town administration. Like there is some similarities, but when you as an administrator, if you are working in urban, like I am and have been my whole life, or not my whole life, my whole professional life in urban municipalities, I don't really have an interest in, even though I could do it, I don't have an interest in working in RM because there are some differences, right? And it's the same thing with RM administrators that are good at their job. They might go, I don't really want to deal with water and sewer and the things that I don't deal with. I've actually chosen to work in an RM for that reason, because I don't, these are the things I want to specialize in. I don't really want, so it does run into trouble where you've got RMs, and not saying that RM administrators can't do that. They can. There's joint offices. There's lots of people that have those specialties and can do both, and do both.
If you think you had fun getting a grader here,
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Go
So
around,
yeah,
see how
so
that works
yeah,
out.
so there's a lot of stuff that so again, not to, but there, that is the problem. And so yeah, but anyway, this is talking about a provincial retention grant program, supports ongoing employment. bonding and return of service. So return of service being like basically we're training you and you're going to stay here. Again, they're asking the government to do this where, you know, and maybe they don't have, like these villages don't have the capacity to actually draw up these agreements, but then just work with lawyer, like the SUMA lawyer, which is free, and get them to draw up agreements. Like I'm not exactly sure here. This isn't to me the thing of my like, why are we asking government to interfere more?
It just means the government pays for it for something that we're already paying for. Our taxpayers are.
Exactly. Yeah. And just makes it concerned that I get it, but, and I think that's the piece I think we've all seen, and I won't quite go there, but it's a tough one when you've got the small villages that don't have the capacity financially to support the employees that they need to run their village.
Right.
It's a tough one.
But some of them intentionally keep their taxes low.
Absolutely.
Is that what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, but to be fair to the municipal councils, because the people that elect them think that their taxes should be low. Well, why shouldn't these services be low? Or not just their taxes, but their water and sewer rates. Like it doesn't have to be. And you're like, but it does. Yeah. So it's tough to compete. Like it's tough to compare, but yeah. Anyway. All right. Municipal transparency requirements. Government discussion to introduce new transparency and communication requirements for modernization and red tape reduction. Smaller urban municipalities often operate with limited staffing. Again, we're talking about staffing. Mandatory online posting of municipal documents creates privacy, security, and communication risks under LaFoy. Small municipalities frequently lack the technical tools, training, and legal expertise required to manage information security, perform proper document redaction, and respond to increased public expectations for explanation of council decisions. Therefore, they want SUMA to advocate for provide dedicated funding to small urban municipalities for website development, maintenance, and required online postings, provide communications tools, templates, and training to help municipalities explain council decisions to the public, ensure future transparencies and reporting requirements include accompanying financial, technical, and training supports, and provide resources to help municipalities manage privacy redaction, information security, and financial theft risks associated with publishing municipal information online.
So they reduce red tape by introducing more red tape, is what they're saying? Okay.
I think so.
It sounds like.
It seems again like a small municipality problem.
Good idea.
And there's a lot of small municipalities.
From the village,
Okay, we're gonna reduce red tape, but we're gonna make the job a little harder.
Like the privacy, like dealing with the privacy issues, because probably everybody on council knows everybody.
Yeah.
And it is, you don't have that arm's length. Like if you're looking at a tiny little place, I can see why they are having challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was gonna say again, yeah, definitely what you're saying is challenge in the non-arm's length. Like there's just so much, or arm's length, not arm's length. The other way,
Yes,
arm's
sorry,
length.
yeah.
No, I said it wrong.
Yeah.
You said it right. The arm's length, they're there and they're so close, and it's hard to even have any activity go on without
Everybody knowing.
everybody knowing, and not even everybody knowing, but having a conflict of interest, like of some sort.
Yeah, it would be
You know,
terrible.
often who's elected to municipal councils, business people, people who are, and it could be farmers, could be any kind of business person that actually is successful or is a presence in the community that might be doing business with the municipality and everybody in the municipality. They may be really doing something great, like as a community worker. So they're working like a volunteer, and they're volunteering for somebody who's like, yeah, it's conflict. And then you have staff that you have minimal staff, and then even though you have to have separation of staff and council, that separation is so difficult to have. And there's only so much money to pay for things to be done. So then sometimes municipal council members volunteer to do some of the stuff. It's a slippery slope. It's a messy situation, but that's the piece.
That's a village though.
Yeah, and what we're getting to, I hate to say it out loud, but we're getting to, like, all of these resolutions are all things about if these municipalities cannot be of the capacity to actually do these things, should they exist?
Or should they amalgamate?
Or amalgamate, or should there be a regional authority, or like,
You're
all
in
the,
that county system.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm
like
not
that.
advocating for
I am
any of that.
not
I'm
either.
just asking, I'm just mentioning that
Just
this
putting
is.
it in the
But
universe.
but no, the universe, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think again, I guess the trouble that you have with the town of Outlook looking at this is these don't really affect us, except for it does affect our neighbors.
It
And
does.
then, but that's the piece too, like, if we look at our situations with the neighboring municipalities that it affects us, we are trying to regionally work with them, provide advice. I know like Rachel does it too. We both have fellow administrators talk to us and have advice and how do I handle this? I'm sure we have council members and mayors and whatever that will approach other council members for advice and mentoring. I think that's the way you do it. I don't like, yeah. And yeah, I mean, there's limited, we obviously can't take on those responsibilities, but we can actually give advice. And then you've got the ombudsman and you've got all these other people, resources out there so some of the stuff when we talk about privacy, I'm gonna knock on wood, but like we have very little stuff that we ever do with privacy here. And it's not because we're not doing it, it's just we're trying to be as transparent and open about everything. So when we get a question for something, we answer it, we do it, we find within the privacy laws how we can actually get that information out of there. There's a lot of people who don't, council members and administrators who will just be like, what is the law? What is the minimum amount of information I can give to people? And that's such a wrong approach. I don't know, we've talked about that a lot of
Yeah.
times.
I read this maybe a little bit differently,
Okay.
like with my limited
Yeah.
RM experience.
Yeah, well, you know more than I do. Yeah.
Like Bill 43 is saying you have to maintain a website. So if you didn't have one before, you have to have one now,
Right.
which means you also have to have somebody who knows how to use it.
Mhm.
Because if you don't have money to have, like, if the reason you don't have a website is because you don't have money, you probably don't have the money to pay somebody to do it for you. And
Yeah.
just because you're a smaller municipality doesn't mean you don't have as much information that needs to be put out there. It's like the requirements are the same. You still have meeting minutes, you still have financial information, and you still have all of your bylaws and documents like that. And I think a lot of those municipalities are getting targeted by LaFoip requests because people know that it's a demand on your time.
That's true.
So you fill out, you go through the process where if you're only working 1 day a week by yourself, you go through the process of completing a LaFoip request, which means reviewing all of it, redacting whatever's necessary. Like, it's not an easy job.
No.
Then you put it through and they have 12 months to appeal to the commissioner. And if the commissioner says, I want to see that, then you start again, you do it again.
Oh, boy.
So imagine if you got one of those a week because you had a disgruntled anybody. They don't even have to be a
There goes
taxpayer.
your 1
They
day a
could
week.
be
Yeah, it can be anybody. It can be anyone.
so I can see how it's definitely onerous.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit skewed where it's personal opinion, maybe it's gone a little too far.
Yeah.
But I think that that's what they're trying to mitigate is if it's out there, you don't have to go and look for people. You can say, go look for it yourself. It's out there. It's available.
Yeah, exactly.
It's redacted. It's available to you.
Yeah. But
It's
then,
difficult
but
for
then
sure.
you're like, but they're wanting dedicated funding for smaller
I know.
municipalities for website development, maintenance, and required online postings.
I know.
Like you don't have the capacity, then why are you in the business?
Yeah.
But you're right. You're totally right. I get that piece too. But I'm just like,
I don't know, you don't have a choice not to be in the business, like you don't.
yeah, you do. Yeah, you
As
do.
like, what, do you just fold into the RM?
You'd be a hamlet.
Come on,
Be an
Howard.
organized hamlet within an RM.
I mean that's a very unpopular opinion, and I get that. But I'm just kind of like,
That's an option, though.
It is an option.
it is an option.
It's happened.
But again, like you said, then it puts the onus on the RMs to do
Yeah.
that too.
So then
And
they gotta
that's
cover.
still
yeah.
costly.
Oh, it's still
Their-
costly,
Their
100%
revenue
it's
sharing
costly.
and stuff is very minimal.
But yeah,
I know.
A lot of RMs say the best thing to do is to bulldoze it. I'm not
Well,
kidding.
if people live there.
I know, but they're like, we can't afford to do this. I know,
Okay,
it sounds awful,
That's not what
but.
we're advocating
No,
for.
but that's,
No.
no, they're saying
Okay,
it's costing the RMs so much that they're like, it would be better if it was bulldozed and we don't have to pay for all this, because.
Yeah.
It's, I understand
And
it too.
tax them,
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, taxes, yeah.
get the right rates
But yeah.
out there.
Yeah, there's a problem there too, because a lot of that is, a lot of the towns have, they've moved a lot of people out of the city. So the taxes are up there. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the people aren't having to pay taxes on the houses because instead of putting the people in the city on, I'm gonna say it, but on welfare and stuff, it's
Oh,
cheaper to
okay.
put them out in the country. You know, it's cheaper to put them in a small town
Yeah.
or a small village, but you don't pay much tax then. So the village doesn't pay hardly
But
any
again,
taxes in.
The
Yes,
power was within the village to charge more taxes.
yeah, but most of them don't even have an administrator anymore because they can't afford that.
Exactly.
It's a
I know,
I
but
think we're coming back around to where we started
Oh,
from.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's the issue is just that they have the ability to taxation. Sure, they can't get an administrator, they can't get a water treatment plant overall, all that kind of stuff. But there's a solution without more government involvement. Taxation and I mean, good golly. I don't ever advocate for higher taxation or
No, but that's
higher
why
rates than what's needed. But this is not, they're unreasonably low rates
I know, but
if you're having that trouble.
you're also,
Level
thinking of
service.
the people that aren't able to pay those taxes and you can't really force them out. You can't.
No.
No, so,
Yeah.
and they can't afford the taxes, so what do? Right, you can raise the tax to $10,000 a lot. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I
Talked
get
to
it.
a few people
I
about
totally
it.
get it, but yeah. See, I thought you were going to the whole, in rural, so if they would join the rural municipality and then they actually are, their houses aren't taxed, they could, under the section exemption where if it was joined in the RM, that they would actually not pay any taxes on their houses.
Well, they're
because they
supposed to.
No,
You
no,
understand.
because under RM,
Mhm.
they've got that exemption where if you own land in the RM or in adjacent to RM, then you don't actually, your house isn't taxable. So Rudy Landing is an prime example of that. People that own taxable property in the RM of Rudy don't pay
Right.
taxes on their house.
Yes.
In Rudy Land.
Yeah.
But if they were located in the town of Outlook, they would,
Mhm.
right? So anyway, sorry, there's advantages and there's all over
Yeah,
the
there's
place.
all-
There's all
you
sorts of
just-
things that, yeah.
We'll
Well,
keep
what's-
on, we'll keep on going.
Yeah, sorry,
You're
yeah,
right.
it seems that, yeah.
I think the final thing on that, the fact is what's happening is you're getting well, I think we saw it. Ryan, didn't he post that thing where the rural municipalities numbers are going down a bit, or quite a bit actually,
Mhm.
over the years, right?
Yeah,
And that's the problem. There's less people out there.
For sure.
Yeah, there's less
Municipality
family
pays some.
farms.
yeah, that's
Yes.
yeah,
As
and
far
you're
as-
back to
So
and you're
true.
back to the same idea,
Oh,
like
it's-
we are, is like, we want to expand our tax base.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're in the rural villages and the rural municipalities, they're actually decreasing their tax rates, right? So more there's less people, less property owners to pay more.
Less
a bigger
family
cut.
farms, but I
The land
think
is
they're
still there.
starting, the land is still there, but I think they're starting to be more acreages.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There are.
Depending on where you are.
Yeah, and I mean,
If you're
yeah,
close
in
to a
our
city
area,
or
yeah.
a town.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, anyway,
Yeah,
that's all
thanks.
there. Anyway, now to a bigger one, the City of Regina and Suma Board of Directors limited their ability to generate revenue relying predominantly on property tax, alternative revenue tools. They're looking that they advocate the government's discussion enable municipalities to access alternative revenue options, including but not limited to newer improved taxation alternatives. Advocate to collect its own education property tax directly or reinstate a grant to municipalities that compensates for the administrative burden of collecting. Advocate reinstatement of municipal payments in lieu of electrical revenues from SAS Power, restoring a vital source of municipal revenue. And advocate to exempt municipalities from provincial sales tax on construction projects, thereby reducing costs and supporting infrastructure development.
That one should have probably been like snapped out of there
Yeah.
as a
That one's
separate.
been
one.
before though, hasn't it?
Maybe not
I think
fully.
they talked about it. before.
We've talked about it. I know I talked to Suma about like the mush sector being able to have no PSD. Like that. Yeah, no, it definitely needs to advocate.
I feel like that's been,
Yeah.
in our minister meetings and
Mhm.
stuff that has been.
Well, definitely,
Talked about.
and we've talked about collecting education tax. Now, the argument is always, well, for us to collect education tax on their behalf, we're collecting other tax and we send one notice, like, is there any other issues? It's not super hard, but at the same point, we get nothing to collect it and send it, and we have to do the reports, and we have to, like, I'm pointing to Rachel, she does the reports, like, it's administrative time to do that.
Yeah.
And we get nothing for it, essentially. Yeah, so anyway, great one, great point.
Mhm.
Access to emergency care and compensation to fire departments from the city of Norman. I'm just gonna get big about a lot of warehouses, but they want to review and amend the Saskatchewan Ambulance Act, specifically the provisions governing the licensing of ambulance operators and designation of service districts. The objective of ensuring timely and equitable access to emergency medical services across Saskatchewan. Establish a formal cost sharing mechanism between the government of Saskatchewan and municipalities to maintain and upgrade fire department infrastructure, equipment, and apparatuses, and compensate municipal fire departments for their role in responding to medical emergencies, recognizing their contribution. Again, yes, we get no compensation when there's a medical assist, and our fire department answers that. I'm not sure how many medical assists, I don't have the stats, but we get nothing for that. And yet we have our department goes and does that. There are smaller municipalities that have what they call a what did they call it? Dang it. First responders. So if you have a first responders program, they're not paid at all.
Really?
Yeah. So first responder, it's managed through SHA, but that seems to be kind of going through by the wayside now. But yeah,
If you're first responders in town.
we have first responders in town, but they're not under the actual first responder program,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, because in the case of if you have a first responder program, they're supposed to do medical assist. And
There's a couple.
Are there?
Yeah, we went through a couple where there's been first responders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Again, but then
It's
they're
volunteers.
not. It's volunteer. It's a true volunteer situation. They're actually
And like
SHA
if the
doesn't.
ambulance, like if there's no
Yeah.
ambulance people in town.
Yeah.
They
go
are
first.
actually.
They're first.
get
They're the
called.
first.
They get
Yeah.
called first.
Yeah.
So they got the training to.
Yeah. They have first responder training. Yeah. So they can.
And they have their bags and everything, like medical bags and, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great program, but again, because of the parallels with fire departments, there's always been an issue with that because it's kind of some of the same training, some of the same people sometimes, and it just gets really inconvenient. Anyway, so that's they're looking for compensation for a role in responding to medical emergencies.
What if you just invoiced them anyways?
You won't get anything. You don't get anything. And you got to find the right department to invoice. We could tell you stories about like trying to absolute like the right invoices that we have every right to do to the government and the difficulty in getting to the right department to get them to pay. It's very difficult sometimes. But certainly a good idea. Increase funding for local housing authorities. They're asking SUMA advocate the government of Saskatchewan to increase funding to local housing authorities to ensure sustainability, maintenance, and expansion of affordable housing in all Saskatchewan communities. Northern bylaw enforcement in the village of Arange. They want SUMA to advocate the government of Saskatchewan to develop and implement a rotating schedule of bylaw enforcement officials throughout the northern jurisdiction to reduce administrative burdens and ensure consistent, fair, efficient, and visible enforcement of municipal regulations. Wildfire mitigation, they're asking that SUMA advocate government of Saskatchewan and the government of Canada to maintain existing fuel breaks and expand fuel mitigation efforts, including vegetation management and other approved measures to reduce wildfire risk and enhance community safety in Saskatchewan. And also advocate the government of Saskatchewan and government of Canada to maintain CAT guard perimeter for fire guarding and prevention purposes. So,
What's a fuel break? Sorry. When you're making an opening so the fire doesn't jump.
because your trees are fuel for fire.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's
it's
like
like a path.
Making a,
Mhm.
Sorry.
That's good. No, good to ask because not everybody would understand what it means. 9 is improving census procedures for smaller communities and ensuring accessibility for seniors and technologically challenged individuals from the town of Tisdale.
Technologically challenged.
Yeah,
I like
therefore be it resolved that SUMA advocates
Is that what they
Statistics
call
Canada and the government of Canada for improved census procedures that better reflect the realities and needs of smaller urban municipalities. And request reinstatement of expansion of in-person census operation options, paper-based forms. Oh my God. Sorry. Prioritize the hiring of local enumerators wherever possible and to provide enhanced training and to ensure enumerators understand the community setting. Obviously, they're having some background as town Tisdale's community experienced population decrease. They felt it was inordinately or wrongly so because of some of the new ways that they were collecting information.
That's happened here
Mm-hmm.
last time
Yeah.
and the time before, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Last 2 times.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of people who come in here after the date is passed with their paperwork saying, what do I do with this?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like,
We
I know
can't
not
do
the last
anything.
time before, there's quite a few they missed.
yes.
So,
yeah, so it's definitely an issue for sure. It's not a provincial
You would
issue,
do
but it's to advocate
Yeah, funding gets based on that.
Yeah.
If you can get that,
We'll help you fill yours out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
fill it out.
Reimbursement of fire department service on provincial highways. Resolve that the advocated government of Saskatchewan to implement a fund to reimburse local fire departments for the time and
That's a
equipment
good idea.
costs of managing scenes where submitting a claim to SGI is unsuccessful.
Should include tow trucks in that.
And
kidding.
local fire department and municipalities are not
No,
responsible for
for
costs
like
of
others.
cleanup of chemical spills or hazardous material spills.
yeah.
This is actually interesting. We this actually wasn't on the provincial highways, but we just recently had a spill in the town of Outlook, which was a dangerous hazardous material, and we haven't had that before. And we had that. So we are billing the business, the company that had the spill, which is as per our rules and regulations. So, but if they don't pay, then who, right? So,
Well, like it says,
Fill them
when
again.
you don't have the responsible driver and vehicles unknown.
Yeah.
Somebody dumps a PCB laden transformer off the back of the truck on the back main street.
what do you
Okay,
do?
where'd that come from?
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, someone else is gonna ask a question though too.
What?
Like someone else will be asking, where's my
what?
transformer?
Not if it's got PCBs in it, they're gonna be gone. They won't be coming back, because I can guarantee that. Right?
Okay, and then this one is the final one is research farm closures. We're at so I don't know if everybody's aware of, so here we have a research farm in this community. It's not closing, but there has been some closing. The town of Indian Head and the town of Scott. They're asking that SUMA advocate Government of Canada pause and review any research farm closures or downsizing decisions pending a full public impact assessment. And I think that would be a great thing because it definitely could affect us in the future too. So. Yeah, because they're talking about the loss of 35 full-time equivalents, 25 summer students and graduate trainees, as much as $400 million of agriculture sector losses. in the
They
first
need the
year.
money for some more satellites, because
Right.
nobody else is doing that.
I guess we didn't really give a chance for people to discuss what their feelings were of that, but I guess we kind of did and kind of didn't. So anyway,
The research farm closures?
Yeah.
Silly.
with their closing,
Yeah,
Yeah.
silly.
yeah, there should be more. So anyway, so govern yourselves accordingly. So those are the 11 resolutions. There's a few of them that are very village-based and very niche. Yeah.
Do we need to move it?
No, it's all just for you guys to discuss amongst
Okay,
yourselves.
on 9, reports of administration staff and or committees requiring decision, 9I.
So we got the Joint Health Committee 2025 audited financial statement. So the committee, as you saw in their meeting, the committee did approve it, and we just have to ratify this. So also approve the annual report or annual financial statement. This will be the last financial statement for the Joint Health Outlook and District Joint Health Committee. And we'll be talking about the dissolution of it under our next agenda item. So yeah.
We're having a big party with money.
Hmm?
We're having a big party with money.
Awesome.
That's gonna be a nice party.
It'll be in the hospital.
After that, we'll spend that money.
Anyway, so we're looking for a resolution to approve it.
Counselor Smith makes that motion, all in favor? Carried.
Okay.
And we'll just move down to
Yeah, and then
9I.
the dissolution of Joint Health Committee. So the 3 municipalities that are involved, the town of Outlook, the Arm of Fertile Valley, and the Arm of Rudy, we all made new bylaws about what the Joint Health Committee will do, and it no longer will be doing anything financial. So therefore, we are wrapping up in dissolution of the financial instruments from the committee. So as you can see in the minutes, the recommendations were that we transfer the town of Outlook the term deposit held at Prosperity Credit Union maturing in February 2027, plus any remaining funds to total 1/3 of the cash and investment assets at dissolution, and to transfer to the Arm Rudy 1/3 of the cash and investment assets at dissolution, and finally to transfer to the Arm of Fertile Valley 1/3 of the cash and investment assets at dissolution. There's approximately, as council can see, there's approximately $180,000 in there in cash and investment assets. So would be a third of that would be approximately $60,000, which we knew we budgeted for. We knew that we were going to be getting that because that was something we had talked about before. Yeah, not really. But okay.
We don't get ours till 2027.
Yeah, we get half of it.
I can wait.
Yeah, so it's good. Okay, yeah, we'll have a delay. Yeah, you can party all year. Okay, so that's the first resolution, is just to support that. And then the second one is to close all financial accounts of Outlook and District Joint Health Committee following all transfers. So, yeah, so two resolutions, just one to support. It's the same thing as that the transfer, like it's the same reading, it's transfer to the town of Outlook. That's one motion, and then
I will
Okay,
make the
Councillor
motion.
Bruce will make
I'll
the
make
first
that
motion.
again,
I-
it's your motion.
Yeah.
It's the Bruce motion. Remember that? Remember that Bruce motion of 2026, where she closed it all.
Yeah.
All the money's going.
All in favor?
Wage
Carried.
And then the second one is to close all financial accounts of Outlook and District Joint Health Committee.
Good. Councillor Smith?
Perfect.
All in favor? Carried.
He said it.
Bonus. Okay.
13, Mayor and Councillor Forum. Got anything, guys?
Not much going on this week.
Yes,
Well,
there
it's
is.
not this or
The
that.
number 2 voting day tomorrow.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Also,
We've
Second.
already spoke
also the
up
music
about it.
festival,
Oh, the music festival's tomorrow, yeah.
March 16th
Oh,
to 19th.
see?
And the finale is on March 22nd at 3 in the afternoon.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Flintstone Classic is this weekend.
Right, curling, Bosfield, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's just all the stuff
You've
we
been
missed.
out in the park. You've been out
You've been
collecting,
sick too long.
collecting vehicles.
You gotta get
too long.
there.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
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 No news in the hospital, right?
Well, didn't get much last night. I was in there
Get all the
till 2:30 in
news.
morning.
Mm.
That was fun. Yeah, no.
No?
Nothing much.
Spring has sprung. It felt a little bit of warm weather yesterday, and that was
Beautiful.
nice.
Today was nice too, yeah, it was really nice.
Got a lot of potholes, but
Yeah.
they'll get
It's
fixed.
the same thing every year.
Yep.
I think there was a happy birthday yesterday.
Mayor.
Our mayor.
That's-
Yes.
Mhm.
He's just
He's
partied
he
so
went
hard,
down-
he's not
he
here.
Went down to Regina to celebrate the provincial government parade. I wonder if they threw him a birthday party down.
Maybe they
I
sent
hope
him
so.
a birthday too.
It's, I'm not looking like they gave him a birthday present about an announcement about a highway.
Yep,
Didn't see that.
we'll wait for the next
Yeah,
one.
we'll wait for the next one.
Next birthday.
Yeah, next birthday. Good.
But the crews are already out, I saw, pumping water and making sure everything's out, so that's kind of
Just
good.
open it, say,
Cleaned up a
storm
lot of-
drain.
Yeah, there's a lot of drains cleaned up today, I saw.
That's good, it's flowing.
Mm-hmm.
If it is 20 degrees tomorrow, it should dry up a lot.
Mm. Yep. So I think everybody's just gotta have patience on the bumpiness and it'll come.
Same
We've
thing
had a
every
weird
year.
year. We've had a weird,
Freeze thaw cycle is happening. How many springs have we had this
Oh.
winter?
yeah, it's been hard on the roads. I mean, it's tough.
Infrastructure gets hit too.
Well,
Yeah.
it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
No,
It's
But-
low.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it because I'd have to knock on a lot of wood.
Mm.
The infrastructure could definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Freeze thaw is not great.
and I don't know if we even talked about it, that, we talked about, we got our new snow blower and I saw them using it one day and boy, it looked a lot better than the old one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's a few years newer.
Wow, they're able to pick up.
A few decades newer, actually.
This high instead of having to wait till they're 6 feet high. Boy, that looked, it was like, yeah, that's gonna help.
And
Maybe not
quiet.
so much this year.
Man, is it quiet?
Well, yeah, there you go. Nobody knows that it's out there.
It's a hard decision kind of to spend the money, but I think it's well worth it for the town. Maybe not this year so much, but next year.
Next spring. Yes.
We got a big snow like 2 years ago. Holy smoke.
Mhm.
No, needed it. So that's
Other
good.
parts of the
Yeah.
country are getting right now.
So yeah, and you know, Councillor Bruce had said about the second advance poll is tomorrow from 3 to 7 here, and then the regular poll will be from 9 to 8 next Wednesday, and it'll also be here at the town office, and it will be in the art gallery. So yeah, and the town office will be closed that day because we're also doing some training over at the Civic Center. So we have so we'll have the ombudsman will be here. So some of us will be taking that training, and we have some of us are running the poll, and some of us are taking the training. So yeah, so that's good.
And it's in the art gallery tomorrow too?
Just outside the art gallery, but yeah, coming in. Yeah, you'll see us. Last time we ran it in the hallway, and to some mixed results. But yeah, we might do it we'll just do it in the same area, general area. So too.
Okay.
The other piece is we just went live today with sorry, this is definitely not the right place to say it, but I don't have anywhere else to say it, so I'm going to say it now. We went live today with the survey regarding our strategic plan.
Right.
So yeah, and I just kind of checked, and we'd already had 20 replies. So 20 people filled it out already. So, and very, very great, good comments and whatever, and not just good. I mean, just
well thought out.
Well thought out. People are taking their time to do the survey, and yeah, so
Some more
some
people do.
yeah, absolutely, it'd be great. You know, you always talk about like your percentages and your goals and whatnot, and I'm always just like, it'd be great to have at least 100 people fill it out. It'd be great. So I mean, it'd be great if 1,000 people, 2,000, 200, 2,336 people
Well,
filled
so
it
let's
out.
have a direction from the townspeople. It really
Absolutely,
is.
yeah, no, for sure, and yeah, so and it'll be closed March 30th, so that we'll actually have it to be able to review it on April 1st at council meeting.
Nice.
So, yeah, which is good.
So first day and 20 people.
Well, first,
4
Couple
hours.
hours?
4
yeah,
hours, yeah.
couple hours, yeah.
Right on.
There's all
And-
the-
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay. and but by the way, and I did clarify on this. It is definitely we do have access to email addresses that filled it out, but there's no correspondence between the email address and what they
So it's
sent.
anonymous.
So it is anonymous. It's totally anonymous, and we're giving because we're giving prizes. So we're at the end, and not everybody's realized this. Some have, is that you actually need to email us to enter for the prize. It's because we have kept it anonymous. You actually need to, at the end, it says email the Town of Outlook at townofoutlook.net to enter for the prize. So
But that doesn't connect your
Supposed to
survey.
it doesn't connect to certain
To your
areas. It
email.
just, yeah, it just, so that's why we went through that. So by doing it doesn't automatically enter you. Because we wanted true anonymity, and we could have, like I said, I can look at all the email addresses, but I don't want to even, like, it isn't connected to the response, but probably, I just don't even want to do that. It's just like, and not everybody, and actually we've asked, do you want to enter? And not everybody wants to enter. So it's all okay. So that's good. Okay, cool. But I just want to be very clear on that too.
But I think coming up is that Bartsy tournament.
Yeah.
It's coming up
And
2
that's
weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Doctor said I'm not supposed to play. Good heck with him.
Yeah.
Listen to them.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect.
So
Well, you don't play anyway. You just sit in goal, right? Listen, I'm just trying to echo what happens to the left of me over the night. Not everybody's here today. I don't play hockey at all, so it doesn't matter.
I gotta watch you come play goal for me.
No.
Slap shots allowed today.
There you go. Awesome. There you go.
I think there's 10 teams this year, 2 more than last year, and then now we're all having 4 games. So
Oh, there you
55-year-old people should not play 4 games in a weekend.
go.
Especially
2
people
days.
who carry Benwell.
Yeah, I can carry Benelin, so I'm not confident.
He's got 2 weeks here.
Yeah.
Well,
10 days.
water,
Got 10 days to recover.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I just
You
sit
are
in
a
goal
little
apparently,
better
thank
than
you.
Yeah.
By the end of it,
That was
you
a
do.
love.
I'll
By the end of
adjourn.
it, I do. Yes.
I'll adjourn.
Councilor Smith adjourns. There you go.
Awesome. Okay, there we go. We're all done. Perfect. Have a good night, everyone.
No, that would be fun.